Nope.
No,
Uh-uh.
not yet.
Once.
Lights on.
Well, it's not registering as
No, no,
here.
no, no. Not registering.
Well, ask him if you can hear. I'm
Can you
seeing
guys
Ron.
hear me okay? The light's on, but it doesn't seem to be registering on Bryce's computer. Hello. Hi, Mary R. Can you guys hear me? I see you. Get the mic fixed.
I can
Oh,
hear
can
you
hear and
here.
see you fine, Mary says. I was just about to write you guys a note. We're working on the sound. Okay. Well, if you can hear me and see me fine, then let's get going here. All right. That's what we're going to make today. It is a day for making beautiful butterfly cards. Almost, oops, hello there. This kit actually has 2 lighter weight cards in it because I ran out of the heavier cards on my work surface. And of course, we build the kits out of exactly what I use. So we have a couple lighter weight cards in here. But it will help you to appreciate the value of the heavier cards that we usually put in them. They're actually some US A2s. It also gives us a good chance to look at the A2s as compared to the European A6 and look at the size difference. It's not much. So there we go. We're going to build 7 cards today. Where's my camera guy? I'm sure she didn't give me one of those. Here's Jamie. Jamie boy. Oh, there's my Jamie. Let's see. Oh, my Jamie got out. Another one at least so I need to know where this is, and I put it somewhere. We may need another Jamie die.
Are they in your plates?
Huh?
Are they in your machine?
No. Oops. Why not? Oh, wait, what's this? Oh. That's it. Okay, we're good. Just knocked over on the cards, but I have a die, so hey. Alrighty, let's get going here. Let's take a look at what's in our kit. So those of you who have the pad and are building your own kit will know what goes in it. Or you can get a kit without the papers in it. First thing you're going to have is your Jamie dies. Our Jamie dies are fabulous because not only do we have her box die, which kind of creates, depending on which way you're looking at it, either a canvas or it creates a little shadow box, depending on which way you use it. Teddy got compliments today. Well, that's good. Hello, Roberta and Sharma. And I think I said hi to Mary R already. Oh, Betty Gossel, can you hear okay now? Okay. But not only does it have the, this is what I want, honey, Stardust. not only does it have the little canvas, it already has the layering dies. So that's cool. Tell me about Teddy getting compliments today, Mary. In addition to our canvas die, we have a variety of fun things in here. Okay, we have our ribbon, organza ribbon today. We have foam squares. We have jewel dazzles. We have holographic happy birthdays. I think you get an extra one or two of these this time because we just put a half sheet in. We have a DL card, which is our 4x8. We have two US A2s, and you can tell these are the lighter weight ones. We have a sheet of tiny words and phrases. With the others where I can see them. We have lots of Mary board. We have a 7x7, a fuchsia Mary, and four European A6 Marys. We have two 5x7s, and we have two European A6. Then we also have our papers. You'll have 3 papers in your kit, or you need to grab these out of your paper pack. Sound could be louder. You can turn that up on your computer, Sharma. Our sound is about the same level it usually is, so turn that up on your computer, please. This is one sheet that you'll need. You'll need this sheet. I used part of this in the kit for the explosion box, but we need the dream part. You'll need this sheet. And you'll need this sheet. So, without further ado, let's get going here. Get my canvas die out here. I promised you I was going to show you some of the other things you can do with this. In case you don't have your card kit yet, I want to show you some of the samples that he has put into the flyer. See the little circus cards there? I love this one. I love that panel die where he's cut the flowers to go on top. Now, wouldn't that be beautiful wall decor? That'd be pretty. Either one of those would be pretty. Here's another one. Looks to me like I can't tell if he is using that as a shadow box on the cream and brown one. I can't tell if he's using that as a shadow box and he has that flower built up inside, or if he has just layered that with a darker piece of brown. But either way, it's beautiful. And then look at what you can do with the photos. Isn't that neat? Oh, sound a little low, but I'm on my laptop because my mom, so it might not be as loud as my home computer. They're saying that it's not loud enough. Is there? Oh, why don't we bring that microphone forward then? Let's push that microphone up, because maybe that's been pushed back. Sharma's saying the same thing. We're going to move the microphone closer, and hopefully that will take care of it. How's that going to do, guys? I'll speak up a little bit too. How's that? Is it better? Okay. My phone's at 100%. How's the volume now, guys? Better? Okay, better, better, better. All right, good. Well, I'll speak up a little bit too. All right. So I'm going to set these layering dies aside for right now because we won't be using those today. I am going to be using this canvas die. And I've got my trusty die cutter ready to go here. I have to bring my paper cutter over so I get my die cutter a little closer. Then I won't have quite such a reach. All right. Let's get started. And as usual, I'm going to start with something simple. So let's pick out one that we're going to do. This one. I need to cut my dies before I use that one, though. I can tell you a little bit about our layout here. We're going to be taking these two die cuts from here and here, and we're going to be taking this card from here so since I'm die cutting on that one, I'm going to set that one aside for the moment. This one, we're die cutting these from here. Let's do the dream. That's a nice, easy one. Let's do dream first. So probably hear a little rustle as I get my materials out from under the microphone, which has been strategically placed right on top of all the card materials. And I'm going to want my 5x7, one of my 5x7 cards. So I'm going to get that. Okay. And I need my 7x7 Mary. So 5x7 cards, 7x7 Mary, my dream paper. I'm going to also want my jewel dazzles, which I now have. There we go. There we go. And that's it. Let's go ahead and cover our 5x7 card. All righty. Put down a few rows of our tape. How's everybody doing out there today? It is another scorcher in Portland. It feels hotter today than it has some days because today it's not customarily muggy when it's hot here, but today it is muggy and smoky, kind of a fog hanging in the air. It's nasty. And then it's hot on top of that. So it's nasty out there. It's a good day to be inside crafting. A very good day to be inside crafting. This is what I think about the first day we've gotten any smoke, isn't it, Bryce? They said we had some yesterday, but I didn't see it. I mean, it didn't feel like there was a lot in the air. But today, it's just kind of gross out there. Everything looks dirty. So I think we definitely have some smoke in the air today. And it's just muggy hot and sticky. We had just a touch of rain last night. Oh, 110 heat index. Yuck. I don't know what our heat index is. I'll bet it's pretty high here today too because it's sticky hot and really, really muggy. Brenda P., was it you that was asking about the Heartfelt Christmas paper pads? Well, it's good you made it to see us, Thelma. Glad to see you, friend. Thanks again for your call on the gel plate. I haven't tried all the things we talked about yet, but I'm going to, because we're going to do gel plates next week, guys. All right. I'm going to cut down my dream sentiment to fit my 5x7 card. I'm going to take a little bit off the bottom, and I'm going to cut it right above this pink butterfly. So I'll have a little piece left over on the top. So I'm going to start with my top cut so I can make sure that everything butterfly fits. And then I'm going to make this 6 3/4 to start with. And I'm going to make this 4 3/4. Looks like I definitely have more room on the right side than I do on the left. So we'll trim that down to start with. If you're making explosion boxes, be sure and save this piece for your explosion boxes, because this is wonderful for your cutouts. These are wonderful cutouts for your box. So let's see how this is looking. Oh, that looks great. That's perfect. So let's go ahead and go with that. I actually have a full butterfly, just really one full butterfly on there, but I'm going to keep that from my box because I haven't finished my box from Thursday yet. And you can tell I've been experimenting with all kinds of stuff on my desk. Time for one of my Mr. Clean Magic erasers. Okay. Yep, gel plate's coming next week, guys. We're going to start, I think, on Thursday, and we will start with our gel plates and our regular ink pads from class. If you don't have ink pads, you might think about buying just a couple ink pads in colors that you like. We don't need a lot of them to illustrate, and then you can decide what you want. But if you have ink pads already, it really doesn't matter what brand they are. They should be for the techniques we're doing on Thursday. I'm using water-soluble ink pads, so dye inks. And then we'll probably touch on the drops as well. And that will be enough for Thursday. And then Saturday, we're going to do all kinds of experimentation with household items. And I'll send you a list of the things you want to scour around and find in your house. So I'm going to send you a list of those. And it's just going to be great fun. Okay. All right. There we go. We have our dream card ready. We're going to add some little drops to it. There's just not any easier card than the one that we're doing right now, guys, but it's so pretty. I'm going to actually use these largest of the dots on this card. Now, if you have them left over on my sample card, and I did tell you this earlier, but on my sample card, I used the 3D resin gems from Hunky Dory. But in order to hold the cost of the kit down a little bit lower, we're actually going to be using these Jewel Dazzles for all of this instead of having both Jewel Dazzles and gems in your kit, because it didn't make sense financially to charge you even more money. And because the dye was in there, the kit was a little bit more than normal. So but they look really pretty anyway. Look at those. Let's get some stickles on here because, well, that's what really makes these cards beautiful is the stickles. Get my sample out here and look at what I did. I did stickles on all the butterflies. So I'm going to put a little bit on his body. As soon as you start putting the stickles on, these cards just come to life. They're beautiful. And I'm just following the little swirly wings here to get us started. Did you guys ever imagine that you could get so much versatility out of a single pad from Heartfelt Creations? Aren't they cool? That was my objective in doing this 2-class session in the Heartfelt Creations, was to really give you guys a good opportunity to be able to see exactly what these pads bring to the party. And there is a lot in one. After you finish your explosion boxes, you're still going to have pages left that you can make more cards from, pages and parts of pages. So you can just get a lot of versatility out of a single pad. Oh, and Roberta, I am going to be able to list some more of these Heartfelt Creations pads for you. I needed to make sure I had enough to get my kits done, but it looks like I'm going to have a couple extras, so I'll put those back up for you. In fact, later today, I'll put a couple more of these up. I don't have a lot of them, and I want to reserve 1 or 2 for more kits if necessary. But I can put 3 or 4 of them up, and I'll put them in the sale category since they were originally, listed at 40% off. I'm going to put them back up at the 40% off again. Okay, there we go. There's card number 1. How simple and beautiful is that? Isn't this something you're going to be pleased to give to somebody? I think this is going to be a beautiful card for graduation. This is going to be a beautiful card for a birthday. This is going to be a beautiful card for somebody who's starting over in some way. This is going to be a beautiful card for so many different occasions. Dream again. I love that. Okay, so 1 down. And 6 to go. Let's see what we're going to work on next. Let's see. Let's go to this one. Because, yeah, there it is. We're going to do this one on this corner. So this time I'm using one of my US A2s. Let's look at the difference in size between the A2 and an A6. This one's A2 also. This one's European A6. Let's just look at the size differences. There's not a lot of difference in the length. The European A6 is actually a little bit longer. And the American A2 is just slightly wider. So in case you were curious about how those stack up against each other, that's what you will find. So I'm going to get this one out, and I'm going to cut a couple images off here. I'll start by taking my border off. I was thinking when I was cutting these papers up for the kits, this Butterfly Dreams right here would be a beautiful sentiment for one of your for your explosion box. Butterfly Dreams by itself sounds pretty cool. Okay. And, you know, normally these paper pads have one straight through cut. This one does not. So I guess I'll just have to cut down and across. What I mean by straight through is that most of the time these paper pads have the ability to cut all the way across the page in some place. This one doesn't do that. Okay, there's my first one. I'm also going to use for one of my cards this one right next door, so we'll go ahead and cut that while we're cutting. And I see that we're also going to use this one up here. You're going to have lots of options left right on this sheet for making some more cards. I had to stop at 7. I was having lots of fun making these, and I just kept ending up with more cards, and then I sorted them, and I didn't want to give up any of them, so we ended up with a 7-card class today, because I do that. I get all carried away making things and have too much fun. Okay, we're also going to use our, in addition to our images, we are going to use our fuchsia cardstock, and we're going to need some of our European A6 Miri. And these 2 cards are going to use our lighter weight cardstock. So let's do these 2 next. Okay, looks like I ended up with a little piece of my blue border on this one, so I'll get rid of that. And I'm going to cover my US A2. It's a rare day that you see me using A2 card. I almost always use European A6, but these worked out really nicely for these cards. And because of the layered Miri, it actually adds a little weight to the front cover. They still don't stand up quite as well as our heavier cardstock does, but there's nothing wrong with them either. They're just different. Oops. All right. First, we're going to layer our Rainbow Miri. A piece of Rainbow Miri will work, the European A6 will work just fine with USA 2 cards because they're just a little bit extra wide. So we don't have as much room to spare as we usually do, but it's going to work out fine. We were all out of Rainbow Miri for a while, but in our palette, Brittany told me we have lots and lots of Rainbow Miri. In fact, I think she said something like, "What did you do? Order this like 5 times because we we didn't have any for a while?" Well, it's possible I did that. Okay, so we got 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 is the size of this card. So I want my fuchsia card to be 4 by 5 1/4. That should be a good fit. You can see I've got my fingerprints all over my mirror board, so I take my little microcloth and wipe that off a little bit because I have serious fingerprints on there. Okay, I'll do it again after I put this on. Okay, let's see. We're gonna layer this up and that's gonna look beautiful. Let's see how this is gonna look. I don't know. I might take just a little bit extra off the fuchsia since my actual image is just a little bit smaller. So I think that's going to look good though. So I'm just kind of, oops, I slid it all around and I went to show you. Let's see if we can get that back on there again. I want to do it. I'm going to put this one down like that because that's actually a nice look. And then I'll put my cardstock one kind of centered on the fuchsia, so it'll be just a bit wider at the top and the bottom. Okay. I do know that some of these paper pads get pretty expensive when they've been discontinued for a while. We don't raise the price of them on Amazon, but I can tell when they have sold out everywhere because all of a sudden one day they will just disappear. You know, everybody will buy them all at one time and the style is gone. So we don't raise our prices on some of them like some do, but there you go. Look at those snow scenes, Betty and Dream of a White Christmas. Oh, I love the projects we're making out of these, though. Cut that paper pad, guys. I'll find a new one that's beautiful, too. Don't hesitate to cut up your paper pads. We'll find more. I know where to get beautiful paper. You're not often going to find this beautiful paper, though, this functional paper for the price you guys got these for. That was the gift right there that we got them for so little money. That was a treat. I know, I just said that she needs to be making her cards and dreaming of a white Christmas. Thelma says, yeah, we know you will. Find more paper. Oh. Okay. So I'm using my tape flags to position this. Get it right where I want it. Then we'll pull those strips out. And that will look great. I forgot on my elements sheet that I actually want this little butterfly right here in the corner too. So I'm going to clip him out with my scissors. And we had a little piece of Mary left over from cutting out our 7x7 and making it a 5x7. So we're going to use that piece of Mary to put a little bit of Mary backing on this little butterfly. There we go. Look at all these beautiful things you have left. Gorgeous. Okay. Put a little piece of tape on here to hold this. Okay. Put my little butterfly in the corner here. He only needs a little bit of a border, just enough to really make him sparkle with that rainbow Mary. And I'm unhappy with the fact that I got a little tape showing on the bottom of here. I'm hoping. I usually don't recommend we peel stuff up because it tends to wrinkle things, but I was able to kind of make that little repair. When you stick the craft stash tape that I've said is at least a little bit repositionable, man, when it sticks to Mary, it's stuck. It does not reposition. Hi, Catherine. Welcome, friend.
Warned her about boys, but not about your free paper.
Okay, I'm going to put some foam squares under here. I would say that warning is probably true of all of us, Thelma. Nobody warned us about the hazards of pretty paper. Let's see what I do with my foam squares. I didn't get those out yet. There they are. There they are. Put a couple foam squares under here. I'm going to position this butterfly up on the top and kind of put him at an angle. We're going to get our happy birthday stickers out. Our very sparkly happy birthdays. Some of you are going to get scripted ones. Some of you are going to get block letters. It doesn't matter which ones you get. Guys, they're both beautiful. I put my birthday down here. Oops. One of the hazards of these holographics is that they're a little bit fragile. Don't panic. Just put it back on. It's a sticker. And grab my happy here. Can be useful if you have troubles getting them straight to put a ruler down to create a line and then go above or below your ruler to get them straight. I usually just eyeball them, but you can do that. My little tweezers come in handy for that job. Okay, we're getting there now. Let's get our stickles out again. That's my new one. I'm going to use up my old one first. Okay. And I'm going to put stickles on my butterflies. Once again, I'll put stickles on their body. It's good to have kind of a light hand with these stickles, guys, you don't want your lines to be super heavy. Go pretty light. You can always add more, but you don't want it to look messy, which it can do if it goes on too thick. So use kind of a light hand with the stickles bottles. And I'm just going to do each one of the butterflies here. Outlining the wings and then putting just a little bit inside the wings over some of the pattern. Be sure you catch that body because that brown will really show through pretty with the stickles on top. I'm glad you enjoyed the video, Catherine. Thanks for saying so. Come on. I think it's time to jump to the full bottle. I'll put that one upside down and grab it again in a minute. That's when you really have to be careful about overdoing it, when you go from an empty bottle to a full one. Because it's way easy to push as hard on this as you did on the bottle. It was almost empty. And then you can get a mess. The little butterflies on here, when you go to outline them in the stickles, you realize just how delicate and beautiful the artwork is with the little swirlies and stuff. They really outdid themselves with this paper pad, didn't they? I'm just outlining on this larger butterfly some of the major elements. Oh, got a little tiny butterfly here. We can't omit him. Let's give him a little brief outline. Here we go. Here's our next one. Isn't it pretty? How easy is that to come up with something beautiful? Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, that's another one done. That's two down. If you guys could see my desk with all these projects I have pending, you would wonder how I'm not even more lost than I am most of the time. Okay, let's get this other USA 6 out here. Hold that. These cards, in case you wondered if you like them and want them, these are the value pack cards. Get this one first. These are the value pack 50 for a very low price. I don't recall right off the top of my head what it is, but they're the value cards and they're very inexpensive. I have a personal preference for the heavier ones, but if you're making a lot of cards, the value cards can make some sense. If you're selling your cards, generally I would recommend stick with the heavier ones because it infers quality. Is there a Three Kings hunky-dory pack for Christmas? I think there is a topper set that has Three Kings on it. On Wednesday, we'll go through and look at the topper sets, okay? In case you guys want to pick up some additionals, you know, we have We have the Craftaganza packs, as you well know. You've heard me talking about that for months. But we also ordered in all the singles again. So we'll go through the singles to see if there's some that you want to order individually. And that will give you a chance to see what's out there and which ones you might want more of. Okay. I'm going to come back in and do the same thing here. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to cut my fuchsia Mary board to 4 by 5 1/4 again. And I'm going to take a little bit extra length off the fuchsia again because it's quite a bit different. So I'll kind of split the difference. Take another 1/4 inch or so off of there, which is going to make this look beautiful. And then I'll just kind of center that on the card. All right, let's see here. Let's get these put down. These cards are so easy, but they're so pretty. And look at those messy, messy fingerprints again. You really see them on the on the rainbow mirror. Wowzer. Doesn't hurt to have a little cloth standing by to wipe those fingerprints away. I like these little microfiber cloths. We used to have these in the store. I don't know if we still do. I'll tell you what we do have, I believe, though, is we have one from Scrap Perfect. It's a little microfiber cloth. They're little yellow ones. And I'll tell you, not only are they great for wiping oily fingerprints and things off of your mirror board, they are absolutely great for cleaning your glasses. We have one hanging up in our bathroom, and we use it exclusively for cleaning our glasses because it's just wonderful. It just makes them showroom clean so fast and so easy, doesn't it, Bryce?
Yeah.
They're wonderful. So that's from Scrap Perfect. It's a little yellow Scrap Perfect cloth, and we have those in the store. I'll link it for you. They're just wonderful for your glasses. This one works okay on my glasses, but it doesn't work as well as the yellow one does. Hi, Glenn. Welcome. We're making some butterfly cards today. Thursday, we made our butterfly boxes, our explosion boxes. And today, we're using more of the papers from the Butterfly Dreams collection to make some cards. Our whole goal in this was to really introduce people to the paper pads from Heartfelt Creations, because you get so much value from one of those pads. It's amazing what all you can get out of one pad from Heartfelt Creations. I'll put my happy birthday on here. That looks pretty straight. My birthday underneath it. I love these silver holographic stickers with the mirror board, with the rainbow mirror. They just match so nicely. Of course, just because I said my happy went down straight, my birthday's just ever so slightly off. And I don't panic if it comes apart. I just put the other piece of sticker down. It's not a problem. They're stickers. There, I like that better. Happy birthday. Let's get some of our jewel dazzles and put at the top and the bottom. This time I think I'll use the mediums. I could use the big ones again. I think I'll use the mediums this time. I like to roll them off on my finger. There are a little 3 in a row. Don't know why that works so well, but it really, really does. It's like a perfect accent for things. When you just want a little something, 3 dots in a row makes a beautiful filler and accent. Roll some more off on my finger. Doesn't mean I won't flip these and have them in my hair and on my clothes, but I'm less likely to when I put them on my finger first. Doesn't mean I won't flip them around though. Okay, we got our happy birthday. Now let's put our stickles on. I made my border a little wider this time, but I think they both look good. Whichever way you decide to do it, thinner or thicker, either way works fine. I love these little curly cues and stuff on the butterflies. I think they're really pretty. Start by kind of outlining them. Get a feel for how much glitter I've put on there. Then I'll come in and kind of fill some of these major elements. Again, our word of caution is use a light hand. Don't put your lines down really heavy. Put your lines down lightly. You can always add more, but you don't want it to go on globby. You want it to go on light and delicate. Globby, there's a word. And I'll come in and I'll do a couple of these larger elements. Kind of fill that pattern just a little bit. I'm going to do these long trailers too. Why not? There we go. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So one has thinner borders, one has thicker borders, both pretty. Make sure I'm stacking these the right way. And the wet one's actually on the top. That would be good, huh? Okay, we got this one. This one we're going to tie a little bow around before we put it down on our Mary. I'm going to use a European A6 card. This is a really simple one here, but pretty. A lot of these are really simple. I recognize that the designs are super simple today, but they just don't need a lot of extra, guys. They really look good on their own. And it's nice too. Don't you think it's nice sometimes? I mean, we do lots of creative things on our cards, but sometimes it's just kind of nice to do one that goes together easy and it looks beautiful. Peel my backer here. Get my rainbow mirror board on here. I really like the way this rainbow mirror board plays with the stickles and then with the bright colors of the butterflies. It just doesn't need a lot. So we got the Rainbow Mary, the stickles, and the jewels, and the happy birthdays that are all the same color scheme. Okay. Now this one's going to have to be clipped just a little. I'm not putting it down yet. I got to put my bow on it first, but you can see that I'm going to have to I either have to take part of my frame off, which I don't really want to do because I've got 3 sides there. So I'm going to take a tiny bit off the bottom of this topper. Let's see what we got here. If that's enough, or if I need to go a little more. Oh, I think that's enough. That looks good right there, doesn't it? And all I did was take this to, I took it to 5.5, guys. Okay, let's get that purple out, tie ourselves a pretty bow. And the maker. Oops. I had a neat system going there, stacking those papers up until I turned my carousel. And then dumped them all. Okay, there we go. All right. Gonna get myself a bow tied here. Take those nasty fingerprints off again. Tie my bow. Let me take my bow makers apart. I'm going to leave myself a bit of a tail. I'm going to tie a 3/4, I think. I could do a 4/5, but I think I'm going to tie a 3/4 and see how that looks. Maybe a 4/5. Yeah, 4/5 is going to be better. The other one was going to be just a little too narrow. We have plenty of space to fill with our bow on this card. Wow, I sure gave you a lot of organza. I think that's the only one I have a bow on. Pull that off. Looks beautiful. I'm going to lay this bow out, kind of straighten it into a straight line. Sometimes they don't want to cooperate, but that's what I want it to do. I'm going to grab my thinner tape, which is my hunky-dory tape. I'm going to run my tape line right along the back of my ribbon. Try and keep it up on the ribbon itself and not over the edges, because that creates extra work, and why would we want to do that? Rub my ribbon down onto my tape, clip the end. Now I'm going to tear my tape in the middle, and then I'm going to kind of pinch my tape into my bow here, because the center of my bow is thinner and I don't want my tape showing there. So I'm just going to kind of pinch it into the center a little bit. Now I'm going to get my topper, and I have plenty of room here, so I'm going to bring this down quite a ways. I'll wrap this around and clip it off at the edge because it doesn't need to wrap around by much. I'll flip this over, clip this off at the edge, and I've got a nice pretty bow down. And I can push that tape down a little bit now, fluff my bow up, and that looks great. I'm going to put my happy birthday right below my bow. These are all birthday cards. Don't we all need more birthday cards than any? I think that's the one I use the most. So I gave you a whole bunch of happy birthday cards because these butterflies are so happy, you know, just so happy. Happy butterflies, happy trees. A Bob Ross moment there. Come on, there we go. That looks good. I think I'm going to use the bigger ones on this one up at the top this time. I used the center, the middle ones last time, and I think I'd like a little more accent up there. So I'm going to use the bigger ones. I don't need to worry about putting a balancing line at the bottom because my butterfly's right at the bottom of this one and it's going to have some sparkles. So it will create that balance all on its own. I'm going to go ahead and put this on with some tape flags. Kind of center that on my Mary. Oh, I'm so glad that he liked the dragon birthday card. Those are so fun. Those dragons, the hunky-dory dragons. I loved that. I hope they do more of that kind of thing because I really liked that set with the dragons and the wolves. And come on. For some reason, the tape just did not want to release from the paper on the end this time. I had to kind of pull it up from lower. Okay, get that position just the way we want it. When it looks just right, this one's a little too low there. When it looks just right, then pull the tape out. And it looks pretty. Get our stickles out here. And I'm going to put some stickles on this butterfly. This is a really pretty one with this purple and blue. Love all the little swirlies on it. I kind of follow the lines on these. It has an interesting pattern on the wings. There we go. That looks beautiful. That's number 4. Now we're going to work on our, I think, we'll work on our panel cards next. There's our butterflies. Make sure I have the wet one on top. Seems like such an obvious thing, doesn't it? There's a reason why I'm making sure, because I don't always keep good tabs on those sorts of things. Okay, let's do our panel cards next. These are really fun. I'm looking forward to sharing this with you. Okay, let's get this out. And we're going to get our cutting plate. I'm going to get my die here. And I want my first panel to capture this butterfly in the corner. So I'm going to, I think I will draw a little line. Draw a little line right here at the edge and at the top, which will alert me where I want to cut that paper, because obviously this is going to be way too big to go into my paper cutter or into my die cutter. So I'm going to cut out this first one. And position this in my die cutting machine. I'm going to give that a little piece of tape and hold it where I want it. Pop this in the machine and run it through. We got our first beautiful die cut. We'll set that aside. Next one. I'll join you. Beautiful. Okay, the next one I want is this little curlicue here. So I'm going to take that one as well. Once again, I'm going to draw myself some cutting lines to guide me as I cut that. I might as well cut this one out while I'm going. Our last one is going to come from up here. And draw myself a guideline for cutting that on my paper cutter. Love the light in my caterpillar when it comes to jobs like this. Okay, that one's ready to go. Come on, back up. There we go. Always make sure when you're using your paper cutter that everything is lining up directly against that bar at the top, because that bar should give you a straight line. That's one of the things that people complain about when I'm talking with them, that they have a hard time getting a straight line on their paper cutter. And usually that's the culprit. If they're not lining up directly against that bar on the top, that will create problems for you. Hi, guys. Okay. Let's see. Now run this through. Excuse me. Good night, Catherine. Thanks for stopping by, friend. I am also loving my Go Power, my Couture Creations Go Power and Emboss machine. I have lots of die cutters. This is the best one I've ever had. I am loving this machine. I can get them for you if you're interested. It's $270 delivered to your door. What I love about it is that I've been crafting since the earth was cooling, and I have every conceivable kind of die, and this machine will take all of them, which is really cool. I completely agree, Roberta. Did I show you how I messed up my paper cutter? I will show you. It's not pretty anymore because my machine was well worn when I cut it, but I took black paint and rubbed across the face of my machine so it filled in my lines, and now I can see. It's not pretty because, like I said, my machine was already worn, and everywhere it was worn, the paint stuck. And it's not as pretty as it used to be, but I sure can see better. All right. The Caterpillar Pro actually does have a standard ruler at the top of it, so the markings, at least at the top, are much easier to see. Okay, let's get these little die cuts out here. Gonna need our glue bottle. And when we do these die cuts, they have 2 score lines on them, which will score in as you cut it. I want you to fold on the score line, and I want you to crease it really good. Fold on each of the score lines and crease it really good. Your creases are going to be super important when we go to fold this up. fold on your score line, crease it really good, fold on your score line. You're going to get tired of hearing me say that. Crease it good. So what we're really doing is creating a little mini box here, aren't we? Fold on our score line, crease it really good. Fold on my score line and crease it really good. Fold on your score line. Fold on your score line, crease those really good. See, I changed it up a little there. Should notice that. Okay, I'm going to fold down my little tabs. They have a little tab here. See my little tab here? I'm going to fold those little tabs down. Okay, I'm going to put some glue on those little tabs. Oh, not that much glue. Put a little glue on those tabs. I'm going to fold this up, and I'm going to hook those tabs inside my first fold line. And I'm going to hold it there for just a second. Let that bond. A fine tip Sharpie might be a good idea, Roberta, because then you wouldn't get, if your machine is as worn as mine, you wouldn't get the dirty look. It doesn't come off on anything. So, and I don't care that it is not as pretty. I mean, I do care really, but I was a little disappointed that it did that, but I do love being able to read the marks. I love that. So now I'm going to go down and I'm going to catch those tabs at the other end. I'm going to push them in under that flap at the end. Now it gets a little more, it's just a little bit more clever to get them bonded at the other end. Take a pen or a pen or the tip of your glue bottle and push those little tabs in tight underneath. Because you want them to stick to the edge of the box, those little tabs. I'm just going to hold it there for a second. Making sure as I go that my corners are nice and square, which is the job of those little tabs, to make sure that my corners are nice and square. Once I have my little tabs in, then I can add just a touch of glue to the corners where they overlap ever so slightly, and make sure that my walls are straight and my corners are lining up nicely. It's worth taking the time to do this part really well because it really makes a difference in the finished impression of your panels to get these lined up nicely. Hold them there for just a second to let your glue bond and get all four corners. And our first box is done. Now, I think I showed you this before, but let me show you again that you can use this little box in two different ways. You can use it the way we're using it as a panel or a canvas, but you can also, made these before, you can also use these as little shadow boxes too, which also looks pretty, and put things in them. Okay, let's do our next one. Get those walls nice and tall and straight. And the real trick here is creasing this good when you fold these. Get them folded straight and crease them. Now the fold lines should be pretty natural because they're scored into your card already. So it's really just a matter of getting that scored down nicely to have nice straight walls on these. Down, down, score each of those lines. Little glue on our tabs. First one's easy to push the tabs into because everything's kind of open and you can easily direct those tabs right where you want them to go. The second one, you have to kind of finesse them just a little bit. I want those tabs to really catch the end there, end of my box. Use a lot of tabs like this when you're using like a Cricut machine and making 3D things. You use a lot of these little tabs. Anybody else do any of that 3D work? Like we did the barbecue. I guess we did the barbecue last year. Remember that? We used all the little tabs to kind of hold things together. Okay. So I've got nice straight walls. I'm just going to add a dab of glue to each of my 4 corners where they overlap slightly. Hold that in place for just a second and let that bond good so everything stays where I want it to be. I like to turn it over and kind of push it down a little bit too, which kind of forces those glued pieces together. Okay, last one. See, these aren't tough, but they're pretty, aren't they? I think they're really neat. And we have these Jamie dies in a variety of different styles, and you can make such cute home decor items with these. You know, they have like a hexagon that you can just keep building out with pictures and things to make beautiful wall art. And you literally just cut either photograph your pictures, print them on cardstock, or actually even cut the pictures if you want to. But just cut your canvas dies out of those and then arrange them to be in a pleasing pattern. Or you can take a larger piece of art and cut it up and then reconstruct it using the little panels. There's a lot of things you can do with these little canvas dies. And they've got rectangles and squares, and they've got octagons and hexagons, and lots of different shapes available. We have all of them. Triangles. They have triangles. Just hold that up while it kind of bonds a little. Keep those walls straight. And we'll add a dab of glue to each corner. Let those bond a little. Yeah, wouldn't that be neat? Robert, I completely agree that cropping family photos into a wall arrangement would just be beautiful. You can put them in little family groups with the designs in your panels. Be really neat. Okay, I have all my panels done. Now, let's see what I did here. I covered my card with this piece right here. So I'm going to get my DL card, which is my 4x8. And I think I'm going to go ahead and cut this into 2 pieces, which will make this way more manageable. Maybe not, though. Maybe it won't. I'll just take this edge off because I still want to use this card over here. Oops. I still want to use this for a card. So I don't want to cut too far into that. So I think I'll just leave that where it is and just trim this strip off for right now. I will go ahead and cover my card up here. Peel my tape. Cap my glue bottle. There is a new acorn wood paper pad that I just got in. It is, I can't remember what it's called. I'll show it to you on Wednesday. But it is an A4 paper pad. That's acorn woods. Hated to cover up this little butterfly. Oh, actually, I didn't either. When I did my original, I cut out this butterfly, but we have that, remember that page I told you to hang on to? Because we could cut out a butterfly, we can cut one of these to go on our card. I actually cut this out. I clipped in, cut that out, and then put my card down. Last time I just remembered I did that, but that's okay because we have another butterfly we can use. Because I added a butterfly to this card too. Because I thought it'd be cute on there. It was. Okay. We'll set that aside for our next card. And it's time to arrange these. So I'm going to put these on, but before I do, I actually cut, just for fun, a little piece of mirror board to go under the center one. Like I said, just for fun. I used the gold just because it was kind of unexpected. This is 2 1/8 by 3 3/8. So I'm going to make this 2 3/8. I'm going to start there anyway. 2 3/8 wide by 3. I'm going to make it 3 3/4 to begin with, and then we'll see how that looks. I'll make it slightly larger than I did last time. It hardly shows on my original, and I think I want it to show a little bit more. So I'm going to put this down on here, and I know generally I don't use glue against mirror board, but I'm going to break my rule this time because it's easier on this little panel than putting tape on. The glue bottle just decided to stick. Get a pen, go down that. I only have to clean this as often as I do because I leave them uncapped all the time. If I would learn to cap my bottles, I wouldn't have to clean the tip so often. It's nice that I can clean the tip, but I wouldn't have to do it nearly as often if I developed the discipline to close my glue bottle when I was done. Make better habits for myself. I think I have a little glob in there that keeps causing that to stop running. That looks good. There we go. Okay. And then, so I'll put that one in the center. This one's ready to go, and this one's ready to go. So now it's just a matter of kind of eyeballing it. What I'll do is glue down the two outsides first, and then I will center my center one between the two. Just run a little bead of glue along here. That's enough of that one. That's annoying me. There we go. It's like my corner's coming up just a little. I'll put an extra little bead right under the corner. And I'm going to come into this corner. Now, there we go. That looks good. I'm going to hold that there for just a second. It bonds down good. I'll come over here. And a little bead around this one. And put it on. I'm putting it on, so it's probably got about 3/8 all the way around it. And I'm going to put this one in the middle. I actually positioned these a little further out this time than I did before, but it'll be okay. I should have probably come in a little further than 3/8, maybe a half. Not much though. Can I use a longer card this time? Aha! Aha! When Brittany pulled the cards, this card is a little bit longer. So if you want to, what you might do here, guys, is actually trim this card just a little bit before you put your boxes on. And your boxes, these boxes, will position a little bit closer together, which I think would be good See, remember what I say all the time when I tell you to always measure your card because you never know if they might be slightly different? Well, I guess I need to follow my own advice, huh? Because I thought I knew what size it was, and I should have measured because I should have taken it down a quarter in advance. It's still going to look good. It just looked better, I think, maybe a little bit closer. But live and learn, and learn to follow my own advice. I'm going to position this right in the middle between the two since the other two are already bonded down. It doesn't do any good to cry over it now. I'll just put them where they go. It does look pretty though. And now I gave you some in your kit, some tiny words and phrases. I literally did give them to you too, because this was kind of an afterthought. So these were free in your kits. I didn't price for these. And I gave you little tiny words. So I'm going to put live, laugh. And the center one, I'm going to the top with this one. And love words on here. And you have so many fun little words that can be used in so many different ways on this sheet. So have fun using those because they really are fun to use. What did I do to my H? Oh, there it is. Got bent coming off the sheet and I couldn't figure out which way the H was going. But I fixed it. Live, laugh, love. I put it low, then high, then right in the middle on the last one. Huh. And mine just kind of came apart. I haven't seen that happen before my L tour, but I can position it right back on there. That's what we've been talking about. They're stickers after all. I can put them where I want. Get my tweezers out here. Handle that little piece. I've never had one of these little words come apart, but first time for everything. Live, laugh, love. Got our little words on. I'm going to go in with my stickles. Cap that glue bottle so it'll keep working since the other one is gummy. Go in with my stickles, do my 2 butterflies. Now I'm going to cut out a butterfly to go on this one. Light-handed, go light-handed. Sometimes I say that for me as much as for you, in case you wondered. Just a reminder to me too, to be light with my lines. Outline my butterfly. Fill in its body. Outline the other side. And just catch a little bit of this major pattern in here. That looks pretty. Okay, I'm going to take this little sheet and I'm going to pick a butterfly off of this to put on my image. I like this little, I'm going to take this little red one right here at the side. It's easy to get to. It's an easy cut. And I will not cut out the antennae. Instead, I will draw it back on with a pen because cutting out those antennae just doesn't seem like a fun thing to me. So I will cut them off and then I will draw them back on. One of the nice things about adding a butterfly here, guys, is that we can dimensionalize it too. We can shape the wings a little bit, fold on both sides of the thorax like we're known to do, curl the wings a little bit around my finger, just curling them around my finger. There's a little. No, it's sticking down all the way. It's just because it's got the mirror under it that it looks like maybe it's not, but that's just a reflection. It's down all the way. I think it's just the angle you're seeing, Kathy. Don't stick your finger in your stickles like I just did.
That's the mirror board that makes it look like it's a shadow of rays.
Yeah.
Almost that she sometimes makes antennas out of wire.
Oh, yeah.
Put them on.
That's fun. Okay, I'm going to draw my little antennae back in with my fine line marker. And we're done with this one. Now I'm going to show you this one again because I think the balance is better on this one. But one of the things I like about this is that by positioning them in this order, you kind of get this orange running through. And I think visually that's just really pleasing to have that. And I like the little live, laugh, love. And then the sparkly butterflies in different places on them. I think it just really turned out pretty. Okay. That one's done. What do we got left? We got this card left to do, which is beautiful. Where is that one? Oh, here. Well, that's not the same one. Oh, well, we actually have an extra one. I guess this is an extra one because this next one, we have 2 cards left to do. Yeah, we have 2 left to do. And this one is coming off of this right here. And then these 2 frames are coming from here. And then I cut this image off the back. So this piece of art I was protecting is another card yet to be made. You're going to find in your scraps, you've got some nice cards left. I could have easily made a dozen cards out of this kit. I just made 7 because 7 was plenty. I definitely didn't need to be making more than 7. Okay, I'm going to cut my dies before I cut my image because I want to see where I'm going. And when I positioned my die, I tried to catch the top and the bottom of the lace. That's how I positioned it here. So this time I want my trim line to be up here and my side to be here. And this time I want my side there. The top of my cut line there, and the bottom of my cut line there. So go back to the paper cutter. Don't cut clear down through that now because we're going to take one of our images off the other side. So just trim out what you need. And there's my sideline. Did I not mark my sideline there? I guess I didn't. Where's that frame again? Okay. There's my sideline. Use my guidelines on my trimmer to make sure that I'm staying in a straight line. There you go. There's my trim lines, and there's going to be my last butterfly. Get these popped into the trimmer, paper die cutting machine, that's what I'm trying to say. Oh, it's warm in here. Got the AC going, but it doesn't, the AC only does so much with the mugginess, doesn't it? Okay, put that back on, cut that one. That out, move our die, get this one cut. The main thing I want to show you about this one is just the positioning of the cuts to get these three panels cut out. I'm not sure it's the best use of our time for you guys to watch me assemble all these panels again. You can look back at our finished card for examples, but I do want you to see where I'm taking my cut lines from. And see, this looks narrow, but on our 5x7 card, it's perfect once you allow for the margins for the mirror board. So we're going to take this from right here, and that will give us a beautiful butterfly. And I'm going to take I'm going to go ahead and take my I'm going to go ahead and take my 5x7 from right here. I'm going to do that first, and then I'll cut my panel on the back. This is 5x7 here. So let's go ahead and cover this. I believe that I have misplaced my, give me a 7x7 silver or rainbow mirror. Honey, please. 7x7 rainbow mirror. Or a bigger one, it doesn't matter. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to position this right here on this edge, where I pick up just a little bit of the swirly in the corner there. Flip this over and cut around it. There's my, oops, you know what? What am I doing? What am I doing? I should have put this, why did I do that? Okay, I had a moment of insanity here, people. Huh, I just covered my card with a different piece. I like it, I'm gonna keep it. Oh, no, I didn't. Here we go, here we go. Oh, boy, I was working on 2 cards at one time and I just kind of spaced out. I didn't need this piece of silver. I just spaced out. I was working on 2 cards at once. This is where my, wow, that was a weird moment. This is where my 5x7's coming from, is the corner of my cardstock. Once I've cut that out, I'm going to flip my card over. I probably got you all confused now since I managed to confuse myself. I was working on 2 cards off of this sheet at one time. All right. My final panel for this card is going to come from right here, and I'm going to try and position that so that my butterfly is centered in that panel. Wow. What am I doing? What am I doing? Yeah, a little senior moment there. Okay. I'm going to pop this back in the die cutter. It just gets a little confusing because we're taking images off of both sides. We're really managing to maximize this piece of cardstock and just use everything. Okay. Okay, so there's my final butterfly, my final box. Okay, rather than having you watch me assemble all of these, let's just refer back to this one. So I'm going to construct these 3 boxes. I'm going to put one in the center. I'm going to go slightly higher with this one, slightly lower with this one. I'll put my happy and my birthday, my 3 dots, my stickles, and this finished card looks beautiful. Okay. Do I have you guys all confused about where these pieces are coming from? I can get another piece of paper and show you once again if that's useful, because I confused myself there. If it's useful, we can do that. If you're good, we'll just keep going forward. Now, we had our beautiful butterfly piece left after we cut out those. It's all okay? Okay. All right. I've got my European A6. I'm going to put my Mary on it. I'm going to cut this one down. Wow, that was a weird moment. Okay. I'm going to trim this so that one side of the swirly is right at the bottom. The other side gets cut off just a little bit. And then I can, oh, it's 4. I can capture this little swirly above perfectly. Let's cover our card. Okay. Okay. Boy, this Rainbow Mary really shows fingerprints. It's not bad once we get our elements on our card, but it's crazy looking before that. I'm going to trim this down just a bit more, top and bottom, because it looks like it needs it. There we go. I'll tell you what else I'm going to do. I'm actually going to trim just a little bit off of the edge of my card because I think it will look better. Just like an 1/8 maybe off the edge. Let's see how that does. That's much better. It just is much more appealing when the margins are a little bit more even around. I like that. Okay, let's go ahead and we will put some tape on the back of here, some tape flags. I love stickling this great big butterfly. It's fun. I like everything about this card, actually. I love this paper. It's just fun paper. Okay. Oh, come loose. Come loose. Boy, that stuff really, really sticks to the mirror board. I'm telling you. There we go. That's better. Okay. Next, I'm going to take one of my little scrap pieces, and there are many. I'm going to put my happy birthday sticker on it, and I'm going to center my happy over my birthday. I don't want my tag to be too large, so I'm going to put these words fairly close together and trim close in. This is the card that I redid after I showed you my initial samples, because I just didn't feel like the happy birthday showed enough directly on the card. So I reworked this and put the happy birthday on a little tag, and now I like it. I'm going to cut this with a paper cutter. And get that moderately straight. And I want to cut it fairly close in because I don't want my tag to be too big. And I do want to surround it with just a little bit of Mary. So I'm going to give this just a tiny border. I'll cut it off with my scissors. I just want just like a 1/16 of an inch border, just a tiny border around there. There we go. That will allow me to put my little happy birthday up here without covering too much up. I will use my Jewel Dazzles in place of the rhinestones on my sample. And I'm going to position those here, here, and here. Then I'm going to use 2 of my medium-sized Jewel Dazzles to put a dazzle on his antenna on both sides. Let's get some foam squares and foam this piece up. Kathy Girl wants to know what the number is when you're sitting in the recliner watching. Was that a 14 or was that chocolate chip cookies and milk? How many dies are in this kit? You get the 1 die set, Mary. You get the Jamie panel die, and then the layering dies. And there are 3 layering dies, so there's 4 dies in the set. I'm going to actually overlap my happy birthday clear over to the edge of my card to allow for as much of my butterfly to show as possible. So I'm bringing it way over here. Get my Stickles bottle out. This is really fun one to stickles here because it's so big. So I'm going to put a little circle of stickles here on the end of that swirly. And then I'm just going to start covering up these lines. And it's so pretty. Oh my gosh, it's pretty. And I'll just come in as close as I can to my tag. It doesn't have to hit every little thing. It's just we're giving the appearance of the sparkly. It doesn't have to touch everything. So pretty. Usually I fill in the body. I'm not going to fill in the body on this one just because it's so big. And I think that might be too much in one place. Just using a really light line and going over all those lines inside these wings because the wings are so big. There we go. I think that's beautiful. Here's a finished happy birthday card. So let's talk one more time about our panel card. I have these stickles drying everywhere, so usually I recap and show you everything we've done. But I have cards drying everywhere. So again, on our panel die, we're going to fold up all 4 of our boxes. Make sure you score them well. If you score them well, you're not going to have any problem with the assembly of the boxes. If they're not scored well, they are going to look floppy and weird. So score your boxes well and you won't have any trouble with them. And I positioned these so that one's in the bottom, one's in the top corner, and then the other one's in between. I've got my jewel dazzles immediately below and immediately above, my happy and my birthday, my little bit of stickles on there, and this card turns out beautifully. And the only reason I'm not doing it is because I don't think it's a good use of your time to sit and watch me fold another 3 boxes, fold and glue another 3 when we've already done them once. So that's just not a good use of your time. Do you guys have any questions? And are you guys good with where the pieces came from in this 2 cards? If you feel like you want to see it lay out again, that's okay. If you think you got it, that's okay too. Do you have any questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom on this set of cards? Thank you, Mary. Kathy Girl says floppy and weird describes her brain sometimes. Well, you've seen what my little brain fart today, so I completely lost track of what I was doing there for a minute. Okay, let's talk about what we're doing next week. Next week, we're going to get our boards out. We're going to get our gel press out. I'll have these kits listed for you later today. We're mostly initially going to use, I'm not going to send you all the card blanks and stuff at this point. That's not the best use of your money. What I want to get for you initially is some paper to use with your gel press. I want to get you your gel press itself. I want to get you your brayer. I've got some stencils for you. I'm going to try and keep the kit very reasonably priced for what you're getting. So I'll work on that this afternoon and get your kits together. But I'm going to assume you have ink pads. And I'm going to assume that you have the Nouveau drops, because most of you bought a lot of Nouveau drops when we put them on sale. So I'm going to assume you have both of those. If you need some Nouveau drops and want some recommendations, just let me know. The ones that are the most impressive are the Dream Drops because of that pearlescent kind of shine. So think about getting some of the Dream Drops if you don't have any of those. The ones that I used that I had the most fun with, and I'll link these for you too when I link your kit. But the ones that I had that I used the most were these three. The cloud, which would have been in your, if you got the kit for Chloe, the add-on kit, you have this already. These two are the dragon scales and the love potion. These are the three that I used on all of my Dream Drops cards, and they're fabulous. So I will link these. If you don't have them, I recommend getting them because they're wonderful. But I'll have your gel press kits up today. Let's just take a look at what we did with the ink. This is ink. It's only ink. Ink and a spritzer bottle. This was ink. This was ink. Now ignore the cards. I just wanted to get them ready to do things with. This was ink. This was ink. I put a little snowman on it because I snagged my card with my tape and it tore a little bit at the bottom. And it was too pretty a piece of paper to throw away, so I put a little snowman there. This is just ink. This is ink, and I was just playing here. This is a brass stencil on this. The snowman comes from a brass stencil I ran through my embossing machine. This is an ink background. This is an ink background. This is an ink background, and I put a stencil with pearl drops on it over the top of my inked background. This is ink. This is ink. This is one of the stencils you're going to get. This is inked. So we're going to try lots of these inked images. This one, I love this one. This is pretty. This is just inked. So we're good. This is what we're going to start on Thursday is our inked backgrounds. You are going to love doing this. It is so much fun. It is so much fun. And then some of the rest of these are done with, these are acrylics. We'll deal with that later in the week. We'll do the acrylics, I think, on Saturday. But can you come in closer on these, honey? These cards right here are done using the pearl drops. I told you I used the pink, the white, and the green pearl drops. That's what this is. I created this background with my Nouveau drops, and then I ran it through a 3D embossing folder. But isn't that amazing? So we're going to use our drops. Here's one where I added some Wedgwood blue. I think this would look beautiful to just put a little town scene here now. Right in here, like the Hardy Crafts kind of layered town. This is the pearl drops embossed. This is just a snowflake folder. This one was a second. Those of you who have done this before understand what a second pull is off your pad. It simply means that after we've pulled the first print off of your gel pad, I put another piece of paper down immediately, and see how it's just kind of skippy. I'm all into these words today. See how it has the pearlescent in places and not in others. Well, I thought it was pretty, but I thought it could be prettier. So I took this stencil that we got in our Chloe kit, and I just put blue ink over that. And then I ran it through an embossing folder. And I think this is one of the prettiest cards I got. This is just a second pull. Here's the Nouveau drops. Let's see if I can get the reflection. There you go. There's our Nouveau drops. Ran it through an embossing folder and then just put a drop of my Nouveau Cloud 9 Dream Drops in the center of each snowflake. Isn't that gorgeous? This is our glitter Nouveau. I've done the 3D background with my pearl drops. I really had fun with the pearl drops. Can you tell? I did my background with the pearl drops. Let's see if I can get it in an angle that shows that. There we go. See the pearl drops in the background? And then I used my stencil and a credit card, and I put Nouveau glitter through my stencil to get this beautiful background. So this is a whole new use for your Nouveau drops too, guys. This one is done on just literally note paper. It was one of the first ones that I did, and I thought it turned out really pretty with that little bit of glitter in it and then the Nouveau drops in it. I didn't want to throw it away, so I kept it. And what I like is I like the fact that the lighter weight paper has this additional texturing in it. You might not like that. I love this. I think it's just really neat. This is my Nouveau glitter. Disregard my cut line here. I'm going to put a piece of something there. I cut it too short. But it's just my Nouveau glitter drops that are put out on my gel pad and then lifted on my paper. It doesn't have any, it doesn't have dream drops or anything under it, I don't think. It might have a little bit. Dream drops and glitter. We're just going to have such fun. It's a totally new skill, and you guys are going to love it. It's so easy and so fun, and you're just not going to believe what all we can do with it. You can use almost any medium on top of a gel press. So we are just going to have a blast. We might even try some Jamie powders just for the heck of it and see what happens. Because why not? Why not? So this is coming up next week. We're going to make some papers, and then we'll come up with some follow-up designs for your cards. Later today, Mary R., tonight or in the morning, it'll be up, okay? Your gel press kit will be up. You guys liking the sale today? I have the girls on a little bonus program where if we hit a certain level of overall sales, they get a bonus. They've missed it 2 or 3 months in a row, and we were so darn close this month. I just couldn't let them miss it. So that's why the extraordinary sale today, I wanted those girls to get their bonus. So And I can't just cheat and give it to them anyway, because that's not right. You know, if we have a plan that says you get it at this time, then we got to hit it to get it. But that doesn't mean that I can't help them. So, excuse me? Oh, it is upside down. Yeah. So I have not priced the kit yet, but I'm going to try really hard to keep it reasonable. You have to have a brayer. You have to have a gel press, the gel press itself. And then I think what I'm going to send you this time is just the brayer, the gel press, the stencils, and then I will make a list of recommended supplies to have available, most of which you'll probably have already. Okay? All right. If there's no questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom, any questions at all? Free shipping today. So if there's anything else that was tempting to you in the sale, feel free to jump in and grab that. And I think I'm going to say then, good night, Gracie. Yes, thank you, Mary R. Hit that thumbs up if you didn't do it already, guys. Appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you like these cards.